Remember all that talk that the alleged title contenders found something that worked in that comeback against the, let me check my notes here, 4-win Pistons. And that LeBron getting ejected from that game and trailing to Detroit by double digits and coming back to win was going to be such a great thing. Remember when they were going to be the new Lakers come Sunday? Yeah, well, the same old Lakers showed up against the Knicks last night. You know that whole thing about we're a new team. We're different. Yeah, now we're down 10-0 to start the game. And it only got worse. They fell behind by 25 in the first half. Found it, then lost it. Grand opening, grand closing. They were getting beat from deep, and they were getting beat over the top. And yes, I'm well aware that LeBron was suspended, and I'm well aware that AD was sick. I know, shocking. And that Russ always has a slow start to the season. I know all that. I just don't really care, because that's not what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about here is what Russ himself had to say after the game. Listen to this. Quote, "We weren't playing hard enough. Simple." Man, that is the truth. Last night was not about LeBron not being there or about AD being sick. It was about guys not playing hard enough. I mean, that doesn't mean that if they played harder, all their problems would be solved, because they wouldn't. There's still some real problems with that roster. Even when they made a run in the second half, Emmanuel quickly killed them time and time and time again. Listen, I know that they try to get serious in the second half, but given LeBron's point the other day about, well, it's not time to panic, they do need to show or start playing with a sense of urgency. How were they not playing with a sense of urgency from the very jump? I understand the issues of chemistry. I understand that meshing is going to take some time. All these things take time, but busting your ass does not. You don't need time together to do that. You just do it. And these guys don't. And it's not me questioning their effort. It's Russ questioning their effort. Getting beat is one thing, but not going as hard as you can from the second you hit the floor is another. Like, that's inexcusable. Wait, have you got someplace else you'd rather be? Do you have something else you'd rather be doing when you're actually on the floor? I mean, get the hell out of here with that. They're not back. They're back to doing the bullcrap things that makes them a sub-500 team. That's what they are right now. They're not back. They're back to being under 500. And I don't want to hear about how it's the fourth game of the road trip. You're playing in Madison Square Garden, the Mecca. And everybody is looking at you. Everybody is questioning you. Everybody is mocking you. There's even a few people going, Lakers, you stink. And you still no-show in the first half? You still have nothing to prove? You still are going to show up and half-ass it for half the game. I mean, it's inexcusable, especially for a team and an organization that allegedly was going all in and was all about the ring this year. Believe me, right about now, you look way more lottery than you do Larry O. Laker car flags are getting snapped into all over this town this morning. And you know what's lamer than thinking they somehow got right against the Pistons? A team that they beat that was a 4-win team. Congratulations. And didn't even look good doing it. You got right in that game? Man, that was no wake-up call. No one's going to look back on that huge win over the 4-win Pistons and say, that's the moment it all changed. That's when our season turned. Because nothing has changed. They're just not a good team. They're not a good team. That's just a fact. I'm not saying that they're the worst team in the league, although I wish I were, and I wish they were. Good. Then at least they'd be giving me the F that I want. You know, give me an A or give me an F, but this C-, D+ bullcrap isn't doing jack for anybody. Then again, when LeBron's not on the floor, they are an F. Just a bunch of randos who have about as much chemistry as some lunchtime run at the local Y. Like, their spacing is a joke. Their communication on defense is even worse. I mean, I can go on and on. They're 9-10. They're exactly what their record says they are. A big-ass disappointment so far. And yes, I am well aware that they're built for May and June, and that November really doesn't matter very much to them at all. And they sure as hell are playing like it, right? Just don't come back. Don't tell me that a comeback win on a bad Pistons team and a flash or two against the Knicks means that it's okay. They're back. It's going to be fine. It doesn't mean that. And I'm not going to say all of this is on Russ, but there is definitely a trend there. Like, this was the guy that was brought in to bail out the Lakers when LeBron and AD were not on the floor. The guy who could carry the offensive load. That's why they brought this guy in. Last night, LeBron was out, AD was sick, and Russ was brutal in the first half. 1 for 5 from the field, 6 points, 5 turnovers, and even though he had to know that the media was going to ask him about that, he still got prickly when it came up. Because you had 12 turnovers in the previous 4 games. That's good. People are not going to ask you about your turnovers when you're not turning it over. But they will ask you when you turn it over as much as you did last night. I mean, come on, Russ. Do better than that. Do better on the floor on a consistent basis, and do better in owning it when you don't play well. Do better when reporters are just doing their job. If you turn it over that many times, you know you're going to be asked about it. You probably should have a better answer locked and loaded. In fact, I'll even give it to you. I will even give you the answer. The answer is, I need to play better. The answer is, I need to do a better job of taking care of the ball. The answer is not, hey, how come this didn't come up the last few games? Because you took care of the ball. This is not about the media having it in for you. This is not about the media coming for you. This is not about the media having some kind of conspiracy against you. This is about the media doing its job on a night where you did not play well. And yes, you're going to hear about it if you're wearing a Laker gamer. Much more so than if you were still a member of the Thunder. This is how this goes, all right? You're back in L.A., Russ. You know L.A. You played your college ball here. You know how this goes. This is not some grand conspiracy. The media is not out to get you. They're not coming for you. It's just how things work. You know, kind of like people talk to Frank Vogel about LeBron being suspended last night. He didn't say, hey, it's funny that you didn't ask me that the other 1,300 times he wasn't suspended. No, it came up because he was suspended. And the team looked like hell again without him. And as long as we're talking about turnovers in recent history, it is true you had 12 in the previous 4 games. And the 4 games before that, you were averaging nearly 7 per game. So yes, Russ, it's going to be a topic. And yes, you were great in the third quarter when you had 18 in a run that got the Lakers back into the game. But you, Russ, were a huge reason why they were down 25 in the first place. That's what's so weird. Like, the turnovers vanished in the second half and the production went up. So it's proof that he can still do it. He can carry that team when LeBron is out and AD is, whatever AD is, sick. He just can't do it consistently. So yeah, Russ, I'm not sure what it is either. And I'm not saying it's all on you. The entire team is like that right now. That's how you get to be 9-10 on the season. You play okay sometimes, and you play like garbage most of the time. And last night was a lot of garbage. So stop blaming the media, Russ. We're not the ones with the ball in our hands. You are. My man, your stat line looks worse than Isaiah Stewart's bloodied up face. I wonder if Braun has another closed fist, cheap shot to somebody else locked and loaded to get his team a win. I mean, that's the formula, right? That's when you guys turn it on, right? By the All-Star break, LeBron might kill somebody on the court. Hey, yeah, this just in. They didn't get right against the Pistons. That's not going to be the night or the game that we all look back on and say, yep, that's when it all changed. And nothing changed. They were down by 25 last night.